Okay everybody, it's time for another episode of Cooking with Tim. And today we're going to be making Hamburger Helper Deluxe Beef Stroganoff recipe. Had this for many years at home and since then. Do you remember the old TV commercials for this? Hamburger Helper, when you need a helping hand. Yep, I'm that old. I remember it. Here, let me turn the camera. Here is our ingredients to be used in this. You got the measuring cup, 2% milk, the box of the stuff, a bigger pan, and 2 pounds of 8515 ground beef. Now the box calls for a half cup of hot water, 2 1/4 cups of milk, and 1 pound of ground beef. Well, 1 pound isn't enough. You're just getting going after the first pound, so I always put in 2 pounds. And you have to math it out. 15% is fat. So you figure out of 2 pounds, you're going to lose 0.3 pounds to when the fat gets cooked off and drained out. So I got 1.22 pounds there, and 1.22 pounds. That's 2.44 pounds. And by the time you cook out the fat, you'll be down to about 2.1 pounds of actual meat. So that's the Tim math for making Hamburger Helper. Now the first part of cooking Hamburger Helper is you have to take the meat and put it in the pan with some heat on it and stir it up and get the meat all brown all over. And that helps separate out the fat. Then you drain off the fat. And then at that point you can add in the water and the milk and the mix here. And then you're all set to cook it up and make it. So that's what I'm going to do now. I just put the heat on for the oven or stove top or whatever you call it. And now we have to chop this up. Get it spread out as evenly as possible. Let the heat get to it as much as we can. Okay. Now I'm going to give that about 8 to 10 minutes to get brown all on the bottom. Then we'll stir it up again and get it brown again. And by that point we should be pretty well set to drain off the fat. Okay, it's 10 minutes later. Time to stir up all the meat, get it all turned over. Get all the red side down and the brown side up. Okay, gonna let it go 10 more minutes. Get more of this meat all browned up and then we'll turn it over again and see how we're doing. Okay, it's another 10 minutes later. Let's see how we're doing. I think we're getting there. It's all pretty well browned. There's still some red here and there, but for the most part we're pretty well set. I'm going to try to chop up the clumps a little bit. And then give it just a couple of more minutes. And then I'm going to drain all the fat out of it. Okay, there's very little fat left in it now. Get all this spread out. Now it's time to add the other ingredients. The water, milk, and this powder and noodle mix. Now these boxes used to be bigger. They cheapened it up to increase corporate profits by not giving you a bag inside for the noodles. Now they just throw the noodles right in the box. And the box is the bag. That's something about corporate greed right there. Cost cutting to increase their personal profit at the the expense of product delivery. Okay, what does it say? It says 1/2 cup hot water. Alright. I gotta wait for the water to heat up. Actually, you know what? First I'm gonna do the milk. Because if I do the milk first, then when you're putting the water in the cup, that has the effect of rinsing out the cup, so you're not rinsing it again and wasting water. Okay, 2 1/4 cups milk. Where's 2 cups? Oh, it's going to be full. Okay, there's 2, and we'll call that 1/4. Now I got to get this all over the powder part as much as I can to get it run down into the mix here. Alright, 2 1/4 cups of milk in. There's 1/2 cup of hot water. Alright. I can put the milk away before I spill it. Now this has to all be mixed up real good. I don't want any hot spots where it's just pure milk. It's got to be as evenly distributed as possible. Get the flavor packet powder all over the place. Get the noodles all spread out. Mix up the milk and water. While I'm doing that, I'm going to put the heat on because it's going to need... I'm going all the way to 5 with the heat because it's going to need it to get this big mass of liquid in. What does this say to do? We have to heat it up until it's boiling, and then at that point it's done cooking, and so to cut the heat back and let it cool down, and there you are. So the heat is already up. I'll cover it with a lid, and I'll give it a few minutes. Okay, it's been 5 minutes later. Let's see how we're doing. Oh yeah, we have hit boiling. I'll cut the heat back. I'll stir it up a little more so the meat on the bottom is not staying in one place. Give other parts of the meat time to be on the bottom and be as cooked as possible. Now the heat is what activates the noodles and gets them to absorb all the excess liquid. So now we have got it to boiling. I'll turn the heat down to about a 2, maybe about a 1.5. And what does it say here? Let it simmer for about 10 minutes, stirring occasionally. Okay, well that's already been stirred, so we're good there. I'm going to bring the temperature down slowly. And there we are. So in about 10 more minutes, we're all set to go. Okay, it's about 5 minutes later. Let's see how we're doing. The box said to stir it occasionally, so I've come back to occasionally stir it. Mainly I'm just moving around everything that's touching the bottom of the pan. You know, get the top on the bottom, get the bottom on the top. Move it away from the outside, put it in the middle. In other words, stirring it. You know. Okay. The noodles are soft now, so we're good. I'm going to shut down the heat. And as soon as it has, a few minutes more to cool down, it'll be in that simmer mode time. It's all set to go. And that is how you make Hamburger Helper with Tim.